the 21st, 2025. Guys, you're looking at information coming out this morning, and it's something that we talked about a week or so ago in one of the live streams, saying we were talking in the comments, you guys, and some of you remember we were saying the big problem now, we're seeing that a lot of agencies are being taken down, people are being fired from the deep state, but we had these unelected judges that were appointed by Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, whoever, and they were basically roadblocks to everything that Trump and DOJ is trying to do. The MAGA movement which attempted to be blocked from every direction. And the discussion was, what are we going to do about it? What can they do about it? And so they have done something, and they dug through the Constitution, and we've got some information, and this is really going to send a shockwave through the Democrats because it was their last wall of protection. You understand what I'm saying? These unelected bureaucratic judges that are paid off, and most of them are Kenites. We've got to start using that word more, guys, because over half the population of this planet are not from above. We've talked about that already. You've got different tribes, you've got different species, and a lot of people don't understand what happened in the garden. And that's kind of like having to go back, guys, to be honest with you, to Vacation Bible School when you're little kids. Remember that when you have to go back and describe what happened in Genesis, when Christ, and there's several prophecies that said if you don't understand the beginning, you're not going to understand the end. Basically, not verbatim, but so when they block your ability by discounting and throwing away the truth in the book of Genesis about creation and about the Kenites, the sons of Cain, which are sons of Satan, then it's kind of frustrating because it's like you're in college, you're about to get your PhD, and suddenly the whole conversation is going back to the beginning. So study for yourself to show yourself approved. But this, again, they're dissolving this multi-layer protection for these administrative law judges. They're unconstitutional, and they're dismantling long-standing shields for these unelected bureaucrats. Again, coming out of the DOJ now. We got a new sheriff in town. It says the Department of Justice under President Trump has determined that multiple layers of removal restrictions shielding administrative law judges called ALJs are unconstitutional. The DOJ has concluded that current laws make it too difficult for the government to remove these, again, administrative law judges from their positions. These laws require multiple steps and layers of approval before an ALJ can be fired, which limits the president's power. ALJs in the U.S. are supposed to be impartial officials who preside over administrative hearings with federal agencies. They operate within the executive branch, not the judicial branch. That's important. A letter from Acting Solicitor General Sarah Harris to Senator Chuck Grassley outlined the DOJ's stance, explaining that restrictions preventing the removal of ALJs under Section 5 U.S.C. 1202D and 7521A are unconstitutional under Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Again, the Dems are going to panic. This is their last wall of protection, their firewall, were these unelected judges. So what will they do now? Will they give up? You see them clawing like demons trying to get out of the cave that's collapsing on them right now. And there's things that are going around the nation that we don't have control over, even though the CIA is losing thousands of people in other branches. You still got outlying factors and factions that do not want to see this country succeed. And guys, we're right on the edge of doing something that's never been done in my memory, and it's probably in a lot of history for different nations. But if they're about to take out the IRS. We mentioned this over a month ago, talking about going from an internal revenue service where they drain us like blood-sucking vampires that they are, to an external ERS to where like it was supposed to be, to where the taxes that are needed to pay the government to keep everything flowing. You got to have highways, infrastructures, You have to have police officers because half of the nation is Kenites, if you want to just say it that way, because there's a bunch of idiots out there that will kill you and take everything you got and not look back. It looks like these guys are going to go down, but there's so much positive going on that you hate to talk about the negative, but you kind of got to slice that away to get to the good part, right? And we're seeing, again, the IRS changing into an external or ERS, and they're talking about, guys, a lot of money coming back to the people. Imagine that. Now, they're talking $5,000 or something like that, but that's really nowhere near enough because of how much we pay in and how much has been stolen from us. Think about that, guys. Most of us, even I'm, up in age. I could retire. I'm not retired. I work here doing what we do. I do now have Social Security. And by the way, guys are going to double that, it looks like. But they're talking about continually putting money back into our pockets. And that would be a brilliant thing. And what's happening in Europe, they're starting to recognize some of the changes here. And they actually, I think it was either France or Italy, has asked DOJ to come there and help them with their crap and corruption. So there's a worldwide movement. But going back to this, our money coming back to us, it would be a blessing to the entire nation because it would, you would be able to afford decent food. You got RFK Jr. in now. It's going to look at that. But just the effect, we've never lived under that, guys. I don't think any of you have, to where all the work that you were doing and helping and taxes that have been paid all your life is going to come back to you. Actually, when all we've heard from the Democrats is Social Security, Medicare is going to be broke. And all of that, people were believing that when trillions were going to waste. So they're talking about getting all of that fat out, and a lot of that fat needs to be removed by taking the assets of the people that have been cheating. That's only fair. Put them back into the coffers. Send it out. Everything that's extra, send it out to the people. You'll see businesses start to blossom and bloom. You'll see people's attitude change. And I'm not preaching profit. I'm just saying that for all the work that we've done, they beat us down to where we didn't expect much of it back. And that was wrong from Jump Street, guys. You know it, and I know it. So this change, if they don't push it through like we're talking about, we need to continue to talk with our congressmen and senators and start to mold it more into something that everybody can deal with. And they're starting to listen, believe it or not, to some good ideas. They are, one guy that was a whistleblower, and they were really coming down on him hard, is now the head of that department. Trump placed him there because he came in and told Trump what they were trying to do to go against his agenda, and they were going to fire him. Now he's running it. Things are turning around. But just think of the pressure off of everyone's back, your veterans, retirees, everybody, and just the fact that you're not paying income tax is going to put so much money back into your pockets. Think about, and so that takes a load off your shoulders, a mental stress off your mind in a way to know that the government is here working for us because we've worked so hard for it. But guys, again, they're saying this DOJ's position aligns with the Supreme Court's 2010 Free Enterprise Fund versus Public Companies Accounting Oversight bid, which struck down similar multi-layer protection from removal for executive officers. The court ruled that such barriers were unconstitutional and an infringement on the president's authority to oversee executive officers. It makes sense. Why give the president the power to run the country when you've got, in this case, a bunch of libtarded judges standing in the way? They're not supposed to be there for political reasons. They're supposed to be there to properly interpret the Constitution, but they need to do away with all unelected judges. You need to get there by vote, and you need to be held accountable by vote, including the Supreme Court. No man is above the law, and no job should be eternal. But again, the DOJ, in the letter, Harris referenced this ruling, not Kamala now, emphasizing that removal restrictions preventing the AIJs from being held accountable create an unconstitutional chain of protection, limiting the president's ability to ensure executive officials serve the public's interests. Very important, as it said, the DOJ has also announced it will no longer defend these removed restrictions in court, a major policy shift. New DOJ, guys, new Department of Justice, will no longer defend these removal restrictions in court. In other words, the judges, right now, they are trying to find a way out when they read these headlines, knowing that their days are numbered. So that's going to be a great thing. DOJ can move forward, MAGA can move forward, and as long as it's far and it's about helping the people, I'm behind it, because we have been pushed down, restricted, beat down, and our money stolen for too long. And again, it would be a world miracle for any nation to basically start doing this. There were a few around, but after the last few decades of libtardness, a lot of that's gone. Europe's in major hurt right now, guys. We understand it. We feel sorry for the people that lost their Second Amendment rights and most of their other rights and can't defend themselves from what's happening. That's terrible. And we were right on the verge of that. Actually, we were there. We were just such a large, powerful nation that still had our protection, that we couldn't be overrun so easily. But through prayer and looking up and realizing that everything could be going very quickly with Satan and his minions in charge, because that's their goal, destroy God's children. There's a lot of them out there, and if you don't believe Kenites are real, then why are you looking at these people that want to destroy this nation? We're watching it, guys. It's just getting better, but keep your eyes on right now. The biggest thing would be the desperation of the demons and how they will react to losing this last barrier. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.